Hi everyone, my name is Varsha and welcome to Study with Varsha. So today the topic which I'm going to cover that is Elastic Container Service. So by seeing the diagram you people can understand how important and how crucial this topic is. So Elastic Container Service is we can say fully managed container orchestration service that is provided by AWS. Okay, so in this class, we will learn the component of ECS and their cluster. Like in component, everything we'll discuss what is the task, what is the cluster, task definition, and we'll also learn the launch type of each and every ECS and the benefit and how that launch type will work. And if possible, in today I'll cover key integration and use cases also and how we can do rolling updates and deployment services and like blue green deployment everything we will discuss. So without any delay let's start. So see, first thing is that I want to show you a flow diagram so that you people will easily understand. One second. So yeah, this is the Amazon ECS workflow diagram. I know like that is not that much clear and visible, but people try to manage. See, Amazon ECS workflow diagram, front end plus back end plus DB. So what it is saying that there is a user, okay, and user will send the request to where? To the application load balancer, and this will be the application load balancer. And then the application load balancer that we will call as ALB distribute traffic to front end services to here, okay. And after that, what happened that after that, if it will distribute the load to the front end services and back end, here the back end services. Okay, that we will call as ECS task. And balance services interact with AWS RDS, and that balance service interact with like that is backend with interact with RDS. That I already covered in the last video about RDS. So if you didn't watch that video, so go and watch that in AWS series itself. It is there. Okay. So now ECS cluster that we will call as Fargate. If something will be there, so ECS cluster we will call as that will be Fargate or EC2 also. So that will connect run services using image from Amazon ECR. Okay, that will the image should be like Docker or any. Now here see Amazon ECR that will be Docker or anything. Now that CloudWatch monitor ECS cluster here will be the CloudWatch and service and logs. So like this is the workflow structure. Now we will discuss each and everything like some topic I already covered like what is RDS. But even though today we'll try to understand and what is task, how it works. So each and everything we are going to discuss in a very detailed way. So without further wasting the time, let's start. So first thing is that what is ECS? That I already discussed. ECS is Elastic Container Service is a fully managed container orchestration service by AWS, which is provided by which cloud provider? AWS. Now it helps you to run, stop, and manage Docker container on AWS without worrying about setting up Kubernetes manually. See, if you are going to to deploy your services in Kubernetes by using KOps or something, at that time you have to manage the container logs. You have to set everything manually. But instead of KOps, if you are going to deploy your services on ECS, you no need to manage anything. Everything will be managed by who? That headache will be of AWS. So think of an ECS manager of container. Like it works where to run container. It ensures the right number of container are always running. It scale container up and down. It integrates tightly with other AWS services like ECR, ALB, IAM, CloudWatch, and RDS. So it means that if you are going to deploy your services in ECS, you no need to maintain container and you no need to worry. If traffic will come, it automatically increase the number of pods. So everything will go automatically. Like you no need to take headache of anything. See, I try to give a real time example so that you people will connect. So, for example, imagine a restaurant kitchen is there and there a recipe. That is a task definition. Okay. So, recipe will be there. Na, ki, okay, this thing is there in our restaurant. So, that is only task definition. And a dish prepared, like if you give the order, like, okay, I want, veg manchow soup or something like Chinese momo, whatever you want to give the order, you can give. That is nothing but and they are going to prepare. And once they will prepare, so that is nothing but a task. Recipe is task definition. Whatever the dish they have prepared, that is task. The task they did now. And the number of cooking, self cooking, like if four or five people are there, chefs are there, and they are cooking, that is nothing but service. Desired count of task. And one will be a kitchen manager. So our kitchen manager will be there. One they will only guide ki, which task we, like, who will do. So that is nothing but ECS. That ensures the right number of steps and manage loads. So this is a very real time example I try to give so that you people can understand and you can correlate ki, okay, like the real life restaurant example why I took, so that everyone, even a beginner who is trying to start learning, like just now the person, if they're trying to learn the AWS, they will correlate and they will understand. Okay, so I think, I hope that you people are clear about what is ECS. Now second thing is that ECS architecture. So in architecture, or we can say component, so what thing is there? So one thing will be there, that is clusters, task definitions, then task, then what is the service. So that is nothing but our architecture, or we can say that components. So that here it is written. First thing is cluster. So cluster, what I take, like a logical grouping of resource, ECS instance or Fargate, and example dev cluster and prod cluster. So in a other word, if you are not understanding, so in other word, we can say a cluster is a logical grouping of services or tasks. It is a fundamental resource, like fundamental means basic resource you can create to run your containerized application. So cluster is here. With the help of that only you can run your application by containerizing it. Understood? Now come to the second thing, that is task definition. So task definition, I give an example, a JSON or a blueprint that defines how container should run. Okay. So we can, in a simple way, if you understand, like blueprint of your application. Okay. So, and that will be in a JSON format. So there will be some, parameters will be there. Ki what thing it will cover, like it will have Docker image, it will have CPU and memory, networking configuration, IAM roles, like environment variable, many things will be there. Here I have written Docker image from ECR or Docker Hub, CPU and memory requirement, ports. We want that in ports only we can expose our application to the outer side world, and environment variable IAM roles. So this thing will be there. Now the third thing come is task. So I already explain in a very simple way by connecting by giving a real time scenario that what task is. But now for your understanding, see a running instance of a task definition. That is fine, but a single running instance of your application, it is in other words, you can say it is running container with all the parameter whatever you have defined, like all the parameter you have given. Okay, this would be the Docker image, and that is CPU, that is memory, that will be the port. And if that applications will run, that is task. By taking a real time scenario, like you have ordered, okay, I need one chow soup, I need Szechuan rice, I need dosa, I need idli, sambar, chutney, and all these things. And by giving your instructions, whatever the dish that that chef will place in your table, so that is only task. Okay, so if task definition is pizza recipe, then task and actual pizza, that you understand. Okay, now service. What is service? Service ensure a set number of tasks are always running, can attach to a load balancer or support auto scaling. So in a simple word, if you will say a service is what you use to run and maintain a, sorry, service is nothing but what you use to run and maintain a desired number of tasks simultaneously. Okay, that is if service will be scheduler, so it is responsible to placing tasks on available capability. So that is only the service will be. And one thing, like it automatically replace tasks that became unhealthy or stop for any reason. And service also will do, like it can configured with the load balancer to distribute incoming traffic to your task. Now container agent, like run an EC2. EC2 is nothing but I already communicate with ECS to manage container. Now the topic is ECS launch type. So how many ECS launch type will be there and how it works? So first will be AWS, Fargate, that is serverless, and ECS launch type, ECS anywhere, and things are there. So first we will discuss about ECS launch type. So what is ECS launch type? So your provision ECS instance are as container host. ECS schedule container on these instances. You manage patching, scaling, and instances. So if you people are not understanding this definition, so first I'll tell you how ECS launch type work. So suppose you have to provision and memory. You have to provision and memory your own EC2 instance. Okay, and like you have to provision everything to memory and everything. And you can create EC2 cluster and add EC2 instances also. Cluster also create an instance also you can add. And the ECS agent which run on EC2 instances communicate with our EC2 with ECS control panel to start or stop the container. And what is the benefit if you're talking about the benefit of ECS launch type? So it will have, like you can control in a more better way, and it is that infrastructure is also flexible, and you can do modifications, and that is cost effectively also. Now the topic which came is second type is Fargate launch type. Okay, so in that Fargate is nothing but that is serverless. Here also I have right AWS managed services. So with like here it have written you just define container requirements, CPU and RAM. And best for teams you don't want to manage server. You just define ki, okay, I want a server of 8 GB of CPU and 32 GB of RAM. And after that, you no need to worry and you no need to manage that, EC2 or anything. Everything will be taken care by that Fargate because that is serverless. So, how it work? If we'll discuss, so with Fargate, you don't need to, provision, manage, scale, underlying an instance, any instance. You simply, define your task definition with the required CPU and memory, and Fargate takes care of provision and the compute resource to run your container. So example, EC2 launch type, owing to your own car, you manage fuel and maintenance. Fargate using Uber, AWS manage cars. Just right. So if you are taking EC2 launch type, it means you are having a car, you have to manage the fuel, you have to do, maintenance, take care of everything. And forget is another version. Suppose you want to go anywhere, you just book the cab and you will go. So that in the same way, forget will work. So what's the benefit of that? Like reduced operational overhead if you are using EC2, so for that you have to need a member of team members who will manage, each and everything. But here operational will things will be reduced and you can pay for the resource like CPU and memory that your task consume, not to the operation people and not for the maintaining. Like here you can focus on code and not on infrastructure management. Understand? Just to write the code and work, not like how everything will manage. Now, the fourth type that is ECS, networking. Uh, that is serverless. Okay. I think ECS anywhere one topic was there that I missed it, but I'll explain. ECS anywhere. So it is nothing but how it works. Like it extends the ECS control panel and to run premises infrastructure, you can register your on-premises or VM like, in a simple way. ECS Anywhere that will support both on-premises and AWS. Got it? Now ECS networking. So ECS networking means what? So yeah. So ECS networking supports multiple network modes. Bridge, container shares host ECS network. Host means where container uses EC2 host directly. AWS VPC, each task get its own private IP, so required for Fargate. Okay, so that will be secure. In production, must use AWS VPC for isolation and security. That is for sure. Now ECS with load balancer. So now how ECS will work with load balancer? So ECS integrated with application load balancer or like NLB, that is network load balancer. And how like application load balancer uses target group to reduce traffic to ECS task. And example routing takes like front end task like and that backend will be API task. Now ECS is scaling. How ECS will scale? ECS support two level of scaling. That first will be service auto scaling and scale tasks up and down based on the CloudWatch alarm. And example, if you have said that okay, after, if CPU will be more than 70%, that task will be changed from 3 to 6 or 2 to 4, and cluster also auto scales. And EC2 instance is automatically out and in. So here I have given some real-time example, big billion sales or something. You can look into that. ECS monitoring and logging. So how ECS will be monitor and it will log. So ECS we can monitor via Amazon CloudWatch. That there you can just schedule matrices like how CPU, memory, and network. And CloudWatch logs that will go to the container logs will go to CloudWatch logs and AWS X-ray that is required for tracing and console so the running itself. So that thing whatever I'll explain, if you people will not open your console, AWS console, if you will not do hands-on practice, and if you will not do, that is the completely wastage. If you people will go and do the practical demo, then only the things will clear in your mind. It will be not like whatever I teach and you will say ki ma'am I'm not able to understand. You will not able to understand up to when you will not do practice. Okay. ECS real life example that e-commerce steps. Here I have given the steps like how we will no do all these things. So and that workflow, ECS security, Fargate. So many things is there that I'll discuss in tomorrow's class. So thank you for watching Study with Varsha. Have a nice day. If you didn't subscribe my channel, Do subscribe. In tomorrow videos, I'll explain the steps how we will create ECS, and I'll show the real time example via practical. So have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.